Diogenes, often regarded as a symbol of Cynic philosophy, embodied its principles through his unconventional lifestyle and provocative behavior. He rejected societal norms and conventions, opting instead for a life of radical simplicity and disregard for social niceties. Diogenes famously inhabited a large ceramic jar in Athens, eschewing the comforts of a traditional home in favor of a minimalist existence. He openly defied societal expectations, challenging authority figures and engaging in philosophical discourse in public spaces such as marketplaces and street corners. The Cynics, inspired by Diogenes' example, sought to cultivate self-sufficiency and inner freedom by renouncing worldly attachments and societal expectations. They embraced poverty as a means of liberation, viewing material wealth as a hindrance to spiritual well-being. Cynics advocated for a return to a more primal and authentic way of life, rooted in simplicity, honesty, and a rejection of social pretense. Diogenes' confrontational and iconoclastic approach to life earned him both admiration and scorn from his contemporaries. While some saw him as a sage and a living embodiment of philosophical ideals, others dismiss him as a madman or a provocateur. Nevertheless, Diogenes' legacy endures as a symbol of defiance against societal conformity and a reminder of the possibility of living in accordance with one's principles, regardless of societal expectations. Socrates, considered the cornerstone of Western philosophical thought, left no written records of his own. Instead, we rely on the writings of his student, Plato, who immortalized Socrates through his dialogues. Plato's accounts offer profound insights into Socrates' philosophical method, particularly his use of dialectics and his relentless pursuit of truth through questioning. The Socratic method, characterized by its rigorous interrogation and examination of ideas, aimed not only to uncover knowledge but also to foster critical thinking and self-awareness in his interlocutors. Socrates' approach to philosophy was deeply rooted in moral inquiry and ethical exploration. Central to his teachings was the concept that virtue is a form of knowledge and that ignorance lies at the root of human feelings. Through his dialogues, Socrates challenged conventional wisdom and societal norms, encouraging individuals to question their beliefs and values critically. His commitment to intellectual honesty and his relentless pursuit of wisdom earned him both admiration and animosity among his contemporaries. Despite facing charges of impiety and corrupting the youth, Socrates remained steadfast in his commitment to philosophical inquiry, ultimately choosing death over compromise of his principles. His unwavering dedication to truth and his fearless pursuit of knowledge continue to inspire and influence philosophical discourse to this day. Socrates' enduring legacy serves as a testament to the transformative power of philosophy and the enduring quest for wisdom and understanding in the human experience. Plato is renowned primarily for his theory of forms, which challenges the perceived reality of the material world by asserting that it is merely a reflection or imitation of a higher, unchanging realm of forms. In his theory, individual objects in the physical world are regarded as imperfect copies or manifestations of their respective forms, which exist in a realm of ideal and imputable concepts. For example, while we encounter numerous instances of trees in the physical world, each representing different species and variations, these are merely imperfect imitations of the form of the tree, a perfect and eternal archetype that embodies all essential qualities defining what we recognize as a tree. Plato often illustrates his theory of forms through the allegory of the cave, a powerful metaphorical narrative depicting the journey from ignorance to enlightenment. In the allegory, individuals are depicted as prisoners confined within a cave, their perception of reality limited to the shadows cast on the cave wall by objects passing in front of a fire behind them. These shadows, though familiar to the prisoners and perceived as reality, are mere representations or illusions of the true forms. The objects themselves, illuminated by the fire, symbolize the forms, which are accessible only through the faculty of reason and intellect, transcending the limitations of sensory perception. The allegory of the cave serves as a compelling illustration of the dichotomy between appearance and reality, highlighting Plato's assertion that true knowledge and understanding can be attained only through philosophical inquiry and contemplation of the forms. By challenging conventional notions of reality and perception, Plato invites readers to question the nature of existence and the validity of sensory experience, encouraging a deeper exploration of the philosophical principles underlying human consciousness and existence. Aristotle. Plato and Aristotle, two titans of ancient philosophy, held differing perspectives on the nature of forms and their relationship to the physical world. For Plato, the form, or idea, exists independently of the objects it represents. It is an abstract, immutable essence that transcends individual instances of the thing it embodies. In contrast, Aristotle posited that forms are inherent within individual entities, instantiated in specific objects or phenomena. While both philosophers agreed that forms serve as a foundation for understanding the world, they diverge in their views on the nature and instantiation of forms. Plato contended that certain forms exist apart from particular things, suggesting that there are universal forms that are not contingent upon individual instances. For example, Plato proposed the existence of the form of the good, which embodies the essence of goodness itself and is not tied to any specific good object or action. In contrast, Aristotle rejected the notion of abstract forms detached from reality, asserting that all forms are instantiated in concrete entities or events. Furthermore, Aristotle challenged Plato's concept of the location of forms, advocating for what he termed immanent realism. According to Aristotle, forms exist within individual objects or phenomena, rather than in a separate realm of abstract forms. For instance, the form of an apple, according to Aristotle, is inherent within each individual apple, rather than existing independently in a realm of ideal forms. In addition to their differing views on forms, Aristotle proposed a cosmological model based on the concept of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether, or quintessence. Aristotle believed that these elements constituted the fundamental building blocks of the universe, with ether being the substance of celestial bodies and heavenly spheres. This cosmological framework, rooted in Aristotle's natural philosophy, aimed to provide an explanation for the composition and structure of the cosmos, including the stars and the planets. Epicurus. Epicurus posited that the fundamental aim of philosophy is to guide individuals towards leading happy and tranquil lives, while also assisting others in achieving similar states of contentment. He identified the removal of pain and fear as essential components of attaining happiness. Epicurus singled out the fear of death as a significant obstacle to human well-being, contending that it was both the greatest threat to happiness and a primary impetus for the invention of philosophy. In addressing this fear, Epicurus offered a perspective asserting that death should not be feared, as when we exist, death is not present, and when death occurs, we cease to exist. In Epicurus' Cosmology, he conceived of the universe as composed of 2 fundamental components: matter and void. Matter, comprised of atoms, indivisible particles possessing immutable qualities of shape, size, and weight, constituted the substance of all existence. The persistence of the universe relied upon the unchangeable nature of its elemental constituents. Epicurus argued for the existence of an infinite supply of atoms and an infinite expanse of void, leading to the conception of an infinite number of worlds. Moreover, Epicurus proposed a theory of sensory perception grounded in atomism. According to his doctrine, sensory experiences such as sight, smell, and sound were contingent upon the interaction of emitted particles from objects with the observer. Although the emitted atoms lack the qualities perceived by the senses, the manner in which they interacted with the observer induced sensory perceptions. For instance, particles emitting a particular color were not themselves colored, but triggered the perception of color in the observer through their interaction. Epicurus' philosophical framework emphasized empirical observation and sensory experience, aligning him with the empiricist tradition. His reliance on the senses as a means of understanding the world marked him as a proponent of empiricism, highlighting his commitment to grounding philosophical inquiries in observable phenomena and sensory data. Pythagoras. Pythagoras, a renowned mathematician, advocated the notion that the cosmos could be comprehended through numerical concepts and their interconnections. Followers of Pythagoras, known as Pythagoreans, dedicated themselves to the pursuit of abstract principles, thereby fostering the evolution of ancient Greek idealist philosophy. Central to their teaching was a belief in the eternal nature of the soul and the concept of reincarnation. Among the notable contributions of Pythagoreanism is the famed Pythagorean theorem, a geometric principle that continues to have profound implications in mathematics and various fields of study.